So, good evening. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. And Chitra ji usually starts with the sharing, but she's having some connection issue. So, any of us who would want to, share anything they have read this week or any questions, any concern, any anecdote, we can start from there. And Shreya, you have come after a very long time. In case you have something that you want to share, we can start with you.
Nothing really, Taru. I have come here because through the week I'm not getting time for anything. This is my one drop of sanity and, bringing the compass back home.
Okay. Yeah. So, Captain, would you like to start today?
I think please you start, then probably I will join later. And maybe second person is coming.
Okay. So then I'll request Josna ji. She wanted to share something about faith today. Josna ji, are you ready? Should we start with you? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Faith. I think if you type the first few lines, probably you'll get it on Incarnate. The perception of the exterior consciousness may deny the perception of the psychic. The perception of the exterior consciousness may deny the perception of the psychic. But the psychic has the true knowledge, an instinctive knowledge. It says, I know. I cannot give reasons, but I know. For its knowledge is not mental, based on experience or proved true. It does not believe after proofs are given. Faith is the movement of the soul whose knowledge is spontaneous and direct. Even if the whole world denies and brings forward 1,000 proofs to the contrary, still it knows by an inner knowledge, a direct perception that can stand against everything, a perception by identity. The knowledge of the psychic is something which is concrete and tangible, a solid mass. You can also bring it into your mental, your vital, and your physical. And then you have an integral faith, a faith which can really move mountains. But nothing in the being must come and say, it is not like that, or ask for a test. By the least half belief, you spoil matters. How can the Supreme manifest if faith is not integral and immovable? Faith in itself is always unshakable. That is its very nature, for otherwise it is not faith at all. But it may happen that the mind or the vital or the physical does not follow the psychic movement. A man can come to a yogi and have a sudden faith that this person will lead him to his goal. He does not know whether the person has knowledge or not. He feels a psychic shock and knows that he has met his master. He does not believe after long mental consideration or seeing the many miracles. And this is the only kind of faith worthwhile. You will always miss your destiny if you start arguing. Some people sit down and consider whether the psychic impulse is reasonable or not. It is not really by what is called blind faith that people are misled. They often say, oh, I have believed in this or that man and he has betrayed me. But in fact, the fault lies not with the man but with the believer. It is some weakness in himself. If he had kept his faith intact, he would have changed that man, he would have changed the man. It is because he did not remain in the same faith consciousness that he found himself betrayed and did not make the man what he wanted to be. If he had had integral faith, he would have obliged the man to change. It is always by faith that miracles happen. A person goes to another and has a contact with the divine presence. If he can keep this contact pure and sustained, it will oblige the divine consciousness to manifest in the most material. But all depends on your own standard and your own sincerity. And the more you are physically ready, the more you are led to the right source, the right master. The psychic and
It
its
is psychically ready.
huh?
Just now, the more you are psychically ready. The more you are psychically ready, no? It is.
Yeah, the more you are psychically ready, the more you are led to the right source and the right master. The psychic and its faith are always sincere. But if in your exterior being there is insincerity, and if you are seeking not spiritual life but personal powers, that can mislead you. It is not that and not your faith. It is that and not your faith that misleads you. Pure in itself, faith can get mixed up in the being with low movements, and it is then that you are misled. So basically, I think it's only if we contaminate that faith or if we question it that that it will waver, or else it just doesn't waver. Personally, I can vouch for that, that it doesn't waver if you stick onto your guns and stick onto your faith. But that one iota of doubt also should not come. And this is what I experienced only yesterday. So I felt that it was apt for me because I've been going through this reiteration of faith over the past 1 week. And I feel that we as human beings, we tend to use a lot of our mind or mental to try to get answers when you know somewhere that there is a faith which is so strong that it has no explanations to give. So that's my take on it. I resonated very strongly, so I read it.
Very, very beautiful, Jyotsnaji. All this, what we read, is so beautiful, and even I agree that from personal experience, not one, not two, but so many experiences where this faith and that inner deep truth tells you that things will change, and you just with also if it has been delayed, it's because of your mental doubts. I won't say that iota of doubt nahi aata. For me it has come, and I feel ki there has been a conflict, the mental doubt and the deep knowing of that if it's not working, it's the deep knowing tells you that it is going to work. And I have felt this like so many times, not once, not twice, like so many times. So even I resonated so much. I was like just smiling throughout this, what you were reading. It's beautiful.
So would anyone else on this reading, and maybe we can go through it again?
Okay. Good evening, everybody. The faith is something which we have to develop from the beginning of our life. Somehow, as if we are derailed, depending upon the society where we are brought up. And how we are taken care of in the childhood onwards when we are forming our ideas. So there, the negativity has crept in, like uh, uh, the teachers and the parents and all this. They say that you cannot do this, you cannot do this. Ye mat karo, oh mat karo. All those have come in from the beginning, and like we have become at times unarmed. That yes, mathematics I cannot do because it is difficult. English I cannot learn because it's a foreign language. So that sort of weakness has been put into us from the outside sources, because when we are a child, from the time we do not know what is good and what is bad for us. So it was being fed, and so similarly, the decision when you take that faith, what I am, who am I actually, and what is the purpose for which I have come to this earth, what have purpose of life. So that thinking initially it was not exposed to us, these sort of thoughts and ideas. Majority of us I have seen, I never been exposed to that. So we only we were aiming on in the process of education that we have to earn our bread and we have to do something and this, that, and all this, like that we have been going. But how to live a normal life, and what is the enormous power that is hidden within us. So that is to be discovered, and is to be utilized for any purpose which we wanted to do. So those things were not been in the syllabus. It was never been prompted to us. So as a result, we have deviated from this. Even I was a student of physics. What we studied in the school, and when you went to the college, physics, then the theory changes. They say that light travels in a straight line, and there was an experiment in that it was shows that at the same height in the postcards, you make a hole and keep them at the same distance. I mean, keep them in a line, and other side you keep a candle, and you can see through the hole that light. So that it proves that the light travels in a straight line. But when I went to the college and I was reading the light, so there it says that no, it deviates. The light, it can deviate. It is not only travels in a straight line, it can deviate. So there are so many other theories, particle theory, wave theory, and all this came up. So what I'm trying to say is that like the colors, when we see the colors, we see only 7 colors. So, but actually there are much more colors. But the human eye, we can perceive up to certain frequency of the light which comes in our spectrum. So that much only we can see. So similarly, that faith is such a thing. If it is 100% faith, and uh, we should not move from that, and that will definitely give us result instantly. But again, we are though we have that, but somehow we lost that power. So we do not know that yes, we have got the power of faith, and sometimes we change our mind. No, I was having the faith, but now I feel we become a little shaky at some certain stages. Something unfortunate takes place that we become shaky. So that takes us back, because the solid faith, the 100% faith, is very difficult where people have got, and those who have, they have gained from it. But the moment we become weak due to certain reasons, I've seen that we tend to uh, lose that faith. I have seen in my case, it happens that I think what I was believing, that may not be the fact. So once we are formed that yes, this is the truth, and this is the faith. So I think we can reach any height. It can be we can do some job which will look like it's a miracle. Like when we went for training to the academy, military academy. So there was one poster which was written head of the department's office. They say that impossible we do at once, then comma, miracle takes little longer. So, so that we believed in the training the first day. So that because even today, if somebody says that this is to be done, so I say that if it is impossible, then you tell me. Otherwise, don't tell, because everybody can do it if it is possible. So I have seen that with this faith, that yes, the miracle can take place. So that was the faith. This sentence has a tremendous effect on my life, and I have seen that ways other people could not do it, but I have done it because of this. That faith which I have inside me, that miracle is not a problem at all. Because my job was the supply chain management for 37 years in Indian Air Force. I never said no to anybody. If somebody says that this is to be done, and within this limited time, whatever is the fixed time, and within that I have done the limited resources. Yes, it can be done. It is within us. Every one of us has been given that gift by the God. So that is why the faith can bring wonder, faith can do miracle, and anything is possible. I believe that. Thank you. I think I've taken a little longer time to explain.
Thank you, Captain, for the beautiful sharing. And you didn't take long at all. I just, I obviously request others to share, but when you were sharing, and whenever I hear about faith, I really wonder about how we associate everything with results. Like, do this, then this will happen. Like, have faith, and then we'll have miracles. So, like, I don't know, I just look at it and something about it. I mean, there's something that you're doing it just for the joy of it, or just because no other way. Like, you cannot not have faith, and you have faith. Because somehow I feel that if we always have some, carrot hanging on the stick, and if there is some incentive that I have, I feel there's again an element of give and take, right? Again, it's just about, you're just gone shopping, and okay, you're not shopping for, I don't know, like, something small. You're shopping for something big, supposedly big, but it's still a shopping. So I wonder if such a state is also possible, in which it's just, there's just faith. You cannot explain it, you cannot justify it, there is no reason, just know you're being taken care of. I think for me, the first time I was exposed, kind of, I heard the story of Prahlad as a kid, Hiranya Kashyap, and for the Narsimha avatar, like, I was like, oh my God, they are ready to kill him, and he's still all right. They have his Masi, his aunt has taken him in her laps and sitting on fire. And he still has faith that, no, matlab, the faith wasn't that I'll be all right. The faith, what I heard was, come what may, right? Like, I don't have to worry about myself, because there's someone else who's worrying about me. May it be miracles, may it be disasters. And I feel that, I mean, just the thought that that is also my state someday brings a lot of joy or beauty to me, even just thinking about it, that no conditions, like we had discussed it before also, we had used this term unconditional faith. But I think the more and more and more I think about it, I just find it to be such a beautiful state to be in. But yeah, please, anybody else who would want to unmute and share, please go ahead.
No, I think Joe, the thing that we think that we are the body, and since we have this very strong urge to preserve ourselves, and that's where we link the faith also, that if I am preserved, then it means the grace is taking care of me. So I think the unconditional faith, if we talk about that, that would be that, mother in prayers and meditations, she shares that how humiliating is to always think about preservation of the self. And this unconditional faith would be that no matter I am preserved or not, because you are stationed in the immortal self, you are the larger self. So knowing that you are the larger self, only then the faith can be unconditional. If it is not possible that I keep on thinking that I am the body and I have faith. It is not possible. And that's why, one of the things that here I read, that it is very solid. It's a solid thing. You have this concretized formation in you that this is it. So if I am not identified with my immortal self, the faith cannot be. So it's either 0 or 1, like binary functions. It cannot be in shades of gray. Maybe I'm fooling myself if I'm saying I have faith and it shakes, then obviously we are fooling ourselves. So faith is either total or none. I think this is so beautifully explained in this, and also through your sharings. And what Badalji was sharing, that that originally, naturally, as a child is born, as an infant is born, he is one with the divinity. The soft spot is there. He's one with the universal consciousness. And there have been research experiments on, in tribal communities, how strong a faith tribal communities have. It's only because of our education, more mentalized we become, that the doubt becomes to creep in, because we know ourselves as this separate self, me and my body, and that is what I have to preserve. So, one experiment which I have shared many times, I'll just shortly share it again, that there is a book called Continuum Concept, where a lady has researched tribal communities and the kind of fate they have in universe intelligence, higher intelligence. And she was researching, and then she experimented also with people living in cities. Now, people living in cities are not full of faith usually. They are they want to protect themselves, like their bodies and their families and everything. So there is a very strong sense of separate self. I am this body and I have to preserve this body. So that lady had a little child, and the child was around a swimming pool. And the experiment that they did was that they sat separate from the swimming pool, through looking through a glass window. And the child is only an infant, is able to crawl, just it's not a very mature adult who can take care of the boundaries and all that. Now the experiment was to see that a child has the knowing. A child has the knowing. So this was the experiment about, and they were sitting away from the child, and the child was allowed to roam around the swimming pool. And there was fear and anxiety in the parent, but it was calmed by the person who had researched that nothing is going to happen to the child. So the child is taking rounds of the swimming pool. He's very curious to touch the water and to go around. And through the whole experiment, it was shown that a child, or we even as adults, we have this innate knowing how to keep ourselves safe. It is only through education or through instilling fear, what Badalji was sharing, we instill fear that, oh my God, something will happen to you. You will not be safe. So we instill fear. Naturally, we are born in faith, but we instill fear through our conditioning in the children, and slowly they also become a separate self, very different and away from the universe's intelligence, that, oh my God, I am something separate and I have to preserve myself. So this gets conditioned through through our childhood. So that was very strong what Badalji was sharing, and what Taru was sharing, that it is only through results that we mapo our faith. Okay, I got this, okay, then I have a solid faith. And this is there, the grace works. It means the grace works because I had my results. So how would it be? I think that's very beautiful. How would it be if I don't have the results and yet the faith is there? I think that's a beautiful place to be. Yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so I was talking from that point, where I'm not sure of the faith, like, the word faith, or like knowing it as faith. I don't know about that, but like, I have had experiences where, like, where there are like in this, so nicely it's been mentioned that there are, like, so many proofs that everybody is like telling, no, this person, like this person, like, like this, everything against this person, and something in you is just not able to, like, you have everything in front of you to understand or judge this person totally, and there is this like it's beyond you that you're not able to do that. You just feel deep love for this person. And how, I have seen the shifts and change and this person changing, and it's not once or twice, so many times that I've not been able to go by the proofs or judgments that, has been around. So that is what made me resonate. Faith as such, not like directly the word faith, but this resonation, well, that's what I felt. Yeah.
Thank you, Shweta. Monica, I would also like to mention, that what we were discussing the other day, you and I, when we were talking, that as soon as I pick it, right, like as soon as I become the doer that I have to do, then this doubt, then this confusion, then the fear comes, right? In the faith also, they always mention this, that if there's any fear, that means there's, like, the faith or is not there, like there's some lack of it. So that doership associated with it is really the thing that mostly is the bridge that takes us away. And yeah. Chitraji, would you want to say anything on this before we move on? Or we can go through, should we go over the document once again, since it was...
Yeah, as you mentioned, actually that my faith is a childlike faith in the initial stages, actually. Because like a child would go to mother with lot of love. Like that only, even my traditional pujas and everything started like that only. I never know it should yield some result. For some years, I didn't know that. Only after getting married, those questions started arising because of the people around me, actually. You are doing puja in the early morning, what you will get? What is the result of it? Then it gave me a shock, actually, because I never thought like that. Only for the sake of uttering the slogas, for the joy of it, I used to do. Slowly that expectation also creeped into me also, slowly, because of the influences of other persons. So then mother came into the life, actually. As you said, if the circumstances are good, my faith will be in a very high, very in this thing. But if circumstances become very critical, no, so again the people's comments will be there. What is this? What mother is doing for you? You are praying, you have faith. These questions will again and again arise. But I don't know. I can really assuredly I can say only mother's grace again and again and again pulled me into this path. That's all. It is not my faith, nothing, only mother's grace and compassion. That I can really assuredly say that again and again. That grace only increased my faith, I can say, actually. Yeah. Because the childlike faith, only you can preserve it, but with the people can't be followed, actually. That is my experience. And the Savitri really helped me a lot. Every time, whenever I lost my faith, I used to read these lines from page number 55. We are going through no secret knowledge. When darkness deepens, strangling the earth's breast, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp, as a thief's in the night shall be the covert tread of one who steps unseen into his house. These are the mantric lines, really. Like a thief, he will enter. Yeah. Because in that darkness, when there is no faith at all, only the grace helped me. That is my take. Thank you.
Chitraji, this is so beautiful. And the
Mhm.
childlike, I think mother also says that if you want to stay with me, have a childlike trust in me or faith, childlike.
Yeah.
And this quality of children, because
Mhm.
as we were sharing, about the conditioning of mind, everything as a means to an end. Now faith has become also a means to an end. Okay, I want my wishes granted. Okay, faith is
Yeah.
means to an end.
Correct.
So a child, children are so fascinating. I particularly find them so fascinating that they are, okay, why are you picking up the stick? Just for the sake of picking up the stick.
Yeah, correct.
Why are you playing with that, a person or whatever, just for the sake of it? But
Sake
as
of
we
it,
grow
yeah.
adults, the mean mind that we have, we want to just use everything to a means to an end.
Yeah, correct.
And that is the creepiness that creeps in us. As you were sharing, it all crept into you as you were conditioned, okay, you are praying, but what are you getting through the praying?
Yeah.
But the praying itself is such a beauty that what do I need except for the praying?
Really.
Why would I want my wishes granted, but when I have this praying, beauty of praying with me? So that is truly beautiful. I think if we can just stay content with the feet of the Lord, or praying, or the longing, and not want more. And I would say that if we are still wanting more, then we are not with the feet of the Lord.
Yeah, correct.
So it's a signal for me that I'm fooling myself.
Yeah.
The feet of the Lord
Beautiful.
must be enough. They fulfill our life. Yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. That is the grace only, really. Again and again, yeah. She never leaves us. That I can say. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we should read it again. I feel, this was very beautiful. Can we read it again?
Yeah. When darkness deepens, strangling the earth's breast, and man's corporeal mind is the only lamp, as a thief's in the night shall be the covert tread of one who steps unseen into his house. This is page number 55. Now we are going through No Secret Knowledge canto. Same canto. We will come to these lines soon. Mantric lines there. Really, I used to read these lines again and again so that my faith also will increase, because mother is there always. Yeah, even the faith becomes zero, mother is there. So yeah.
Shweta, did you ask, should we read the faith thing that Josna ji had shared, or the lines from Savitri?
No, this only which Jyotsna ji was sharing. No? This. Yeah.
Thank you. So, this discussion, I know I've shared this before. I keep remembering this quote from Shri Aurobindo where, he had said, I don't remember it word to word, that in the modern times, there's a tendency to depreciate the value of beauty and exaggerate the value of usefulness. And the captain was also discussing, and Chitra ji also, like when we are kids, and Monica, of course, how things are just for the joy of doing things. And like logically also, like mother says, make reason the master of the house. It feels very strange that why we would want to keep something in between the joy, right? Say reading a book, if it's bringing me joy, why will I say, no, go first, go work, then buy the book? And but in the sense, we keep putting things in between so that we can be happy. And if somebody is already happy without those things, the world would call them stupid. They'll call them, oh, you don't know how the world works. So how we kind of keep distancing the joy, because there are so many things that are needed officially. That's what is felt. That's very interesting how we are working through that, and how we accept that yes, first let like, thank God it's Friday. Like I know Monica also uses this example a lot, that first you need Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that you can appreciate a Friday. So now you can have a beer because it's Friday, because you have worked hard. Like everything has to be earned and justified. And yes, Sapna, please.
Yeah, I was, can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes, Sapna, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I was partly also reminded of once I was in Oroville for a workshop, and Shraddhalu was leading it. And right at the beginning, he asked us something similar to, what was the age you can remember you started believing in God or the divine or a spiritual dimension, you know, and not just believing, but like searching for it, seeking for it. And then we all went into quiet and meditation. We had some time to really think back or contemplate back, when did it start? And I think it was one of the most powerful moments for me, because if I kept casting my mind back, like, okay, where did just the search for the divine, and therefore it meant that there was a belief in the divine, when did it all start? And there was a surprising answer in the circle, because then we all shared, all the participants were sitting in a circle, and for a few of us, it's like we can't ever remember not having it. That somehow, from our earliest memories, even as a child, there was something within that was questing or seeking. And for me, that's the faith. And it was a really powerful way to realize, despite what anyone may have taught or not taught me, that actually just going within myself, or, you know, when one goes within, one finds actually somehow it may have already been there or come in at a very young age, you know, without words for it. So yes, I wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sapna. That was a beautiful point. Shweta, would you want? I don't know if you're unmuted. No? Okay.
You know what Swapna just shared, it resonates actually so strongly, and it tells us that faith is our true nature actually, and that's why we keep on being so restless. You know, we keep on trying to find security and stability in relationships and jobs. So it's the ultimate security and safety, it seems, you know, if you are stabilized in this faith, which we are looking, you know, just like Kabir says that kasturi kundal base mrag dhoonde man mahi, aise ghat ghat ram hai duniya dhoondat rahi. So he says that this thing that you are looking for, this ultimate safety, ultimate security, ultimate contentment, ultimate happiness, all this search, and Swapna was sharing that we can't remember when we did not have it. So it tells us that nobody educated us about that, and it must be my true nature if I'm, you know, feeling uneasy without being identified with it. So it is so strong, and I'm so glad that this was brought up, that nobody told us in education that look for peace, look for contentment. You know, people talked about chemistry, physics and everything, but we all that we look for in our all the desires that we want, you know, maybe it's a stable relationship. Okay, why do you want a stable relationship? Because I'll be happy and contented. Okay, why do you want this job? Because I'll be happy and contented. So ultimately, the root that we are wanting is this lasting happiness, contentment. And I think this is so enmeshed with faith. So it seems that without faith, it seems that we are away from our true nature, our truest nature, if we are not solidified in faith. So yeah, that was a very interesting correlation. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very beautiful actually. Faith is there. Even we know about it, but it is there. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yes, I found that memory of, you know, just sitting really quietly and going within oneself to really find one's own answer, like doing that for myself. This was so many years ago. I don't know, 15 years ago, this workshop.
Yeah.
And but it stayed with me, you know, and it comes back even in this moment so tangibly. So I would really suggest anyone called to really just sit quietly once with yourself and just really honestly say, where did it start for me? Because
Yeah,
it
so beautiful.
really kindles this sense of something deep within, that exactly like, you know, Monica and Chitra, you were just seconding, you know, that really it's very beautiful, and it's very reassuring for all the other times when my mind can doubt, or I can go into all the things that adults do, you know. Yeah, it's very, very beautiful and reassuring. And yes, a gift from the mother or from the divine for sure.
And we feel this sense of uneasiness when we are,
Yeah.
when we are full of doubts. We are not okay with doubts.
Yeah.
Nobody can be very restful with doubts.
Yeah.
I think it reminded me of this analogy of the ego or the separate self and our true nature. A master uses, Rupert Spira, he uses that our ego is like a constricted sponge bowl. We are never easy here. We are never easy here. So all that we want is to be like this. This is our larger self. And that's why whenever we are in doubt, full of confusion, and always trying to preserve ourselves, being somebody, I think we are always restless. And this is the restlessness, the tension that we feel. And the moment I am relaxed, the ego has as if merged back in its larger self, then we are okay. And yeah, so when this was being shared, this metaphor came to me that we are not easy with those doubts and confusions. And mother also shares about this sense of uneasiness when we are trying to understand the psychic. Mother says that look for this sense of uneasiness and immediately notice it, and it means that you have entered the separate self again, that uneasiness.
I think not just, like for faith, but even if you talk about materialistic gains, then also I've personally seen some few people around me, go through extreme losses because they just couldn't trust, or they just couldn't believe that what was being given to them was good enough. And they waited, and they were like, kind of trying to go through their doubts and confusions, although everything was all right, and yet they lost what was coming their way. So again, and so I think that is there, like, having that doubt. It's like, again, in how that article said that, like, you say something and then you just cut it, right? And it said not to cut it because that just, yeah. So Chitra ji had something very beautiful to share with us today. In case there's anybody else who would want to go first and share their sharing, and we can end with Chitra ji's sharing. And if there's nobody else, I request her to start. Thank you. Chitra ji, I'll request you to start then.
Yeah, actually, it is in my phone. I don't know how to attend the call and read the thing. So, Monica, you also have that, no? You also have in the phone, you can read those.
Yeah. I think when you speak, Taru can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Catch the words.
Yeah.
So I'll just pick up the thing that she had shared, because she's saying she won't know how to reach it. Let the sweetness and the happy feeling increase.
Okay.
I am not finding it on the.
Taru, can you put check mark this box exact phrase? Maybe then it will come.
No, okay, so I've done it, and
there is one result, huh?
There is?
Yeah, this one. है कुछ इसमें देख.
Exact नहीं आ रहा है. ये तो पहले भी था. I don't know if I have done it right. These are the words, right? I have not just run the search again. Okay,
Yeah, that actually it is forwarded to me by my friend.
Yeah,
So
got
I
it.
found it very beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, so here it is.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Let the sweetness and the happy feeling increase, for they are the strongest sign of the soul. Yeah. Then I can't see much. Psychic being awake and in touch with us, let not mistakes of thought or speech or action. And this is what I was reflecting about these words. Let not the mistakes of thought or speech or action disturb you. Put them away from you as something superficial, which the power and light will deal with and remove. Keep to the one central thing, your soul, and these higher realities it brings with it. So let the sweetness and the happy feeling increase. Yes, this is very direct. For they are the strongest sign of the soul. Yes. Sweetness and happy feeling. Yes, it is like faith, it is also inherent, no? I mean, it is always there. Maybe sometimes if same thing, doubt arises or due to some circumstances, it may seem to be vanished, but that sweetness and happy feeling is the natural thing for a person. But this thing only I want to ask actually, let not mistakes of thought or speech or action disturb you. It is about yourself or about from other people. That is my question. Let not mistakes of the thought or speech or action disturb you. Put them away from you as something superficial, which the power and light will deal with.
So Chitraji, why do you consider yourself as you? I
Okay.
think here we have to consider ourselves as the other also.
Okay.
So
Okay.
these mistakes of thought, mistakes of speech or
Yeah.
action, they are not
Correct.
only the others, they are also,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
our other.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
the other.
Yes.
And it's very powerful thing if we
Yeah.
can look at ourselves as the other, which
Yeah.
most we are
Correct.
not
Correct.
able to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
attitude we have.
Now I got it. Yes, yes. Mistakes. Every mistakes of thought is other only. Yes.
And that includes me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is
Okay.
one metaphor which can be actually, I feel that it can go strongly with this. So
Mm,
imagine that our true being
mm.
of love is this sweetness and happy feeling that you are referring to.
Yeah.
So when I know myself as the actor,
Mm.
untouched by the roles I play, I am okay. No story can bother me. No, in one story I may be a villain, in one story I may be a murderer, but I know that I am untouched by all the dramas that I play. Now, in this knowing that I am not the roles I play, there is an inherent sweetness and okayness.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a feeling of untouchedness, that I am not touched. Okay, in that movie, I was hurt,
Yeah.
but who I am truly is not the role that I play. I am much more than the role. And in that knowing of ourselves as this pure and untouched actor, I'll not go into other details because then it will become a bit meditative. We can
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
go there, but I'm not today touching upon that. Just to know ourselves as the blue sky on which all the clouds are appearing and going and coming and going. So
Yeah.
mother says that let not yourself be touched by those clouds coming and going, because that is not your reality. You are not who you
Yeah.
think you are. So whether it is the thought or a comment of the other person, or whether it is the thought of comment of me, what mother is suggesting, I believe what mother is suggesting is to remember who you truly are, the blue sky, which is untouched by the clouds coming and going. And that remembrance, that light, that power will do the rest of the job that is necessary. While what we do as minds, what we do is we try to fix things either in those, trying to sort the clouds, okay, making this a white cloud or a, we try to fix things in those domains, either in my head on the others or the interaction between you and me. There is where we get stuck again and again. We were talking today about divorces, for example. They take years because we are dealing on the mind level. We are trying to fix things on the external, and they will never ever be fixed because the external is the play of ego. And egos are never in accordance with each other. Egos will always have conflicts. Only when I step back and see myself as being untouched by even my thoughts or others, what others are saying, and more concretize in myself that knowing, it has to become very practical and visceral. This knowing that I am untouched, I am this larger self. That power, that light, Mother says, takes care of rest of the things. So we need not fix things in external areas, then things will get fixed. So that was what was coming to me when you were sharing. Please, if others have reflections.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very clear now because I was stuck in that thing. Yeah.
And there is a very beautiful sweetness that comes to us when we are very relaxed. No story is bothering us. No story, no image about myself is bothering me. When I'm just the pure actor without all the movies that I play roles in. I think that is what, I may be wrong, but that is what Kabir refers to as Ram Ras. That Ram Ras is so beautiful. It's full of honey. We were reading those lines, I think in Savitri also, the honey, this nectar that you taste. And the moment the story comes back, the nectar is gone. Any story, any story, the moment it comes back, the mind kicks in, the nectar is gone, the honey is gone. So yeah, I think it takes a bit of effort for all of us because in this old habit of forgetfulness. Because our journey has started from forgetfulness. So remembrance becomes very important. Sumiran becomes very important.
And also time to time, minute to minute, I think we have to be vigilant and bring this, always, because immediately the forgetfulness comes. Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah.
The other thing that I liked about this passage is that if I feel triggered by, someone saying something that seems unkind or unfair to me, or in anger or criticism, which normally tends to be people you live with, whether it's family or very close friends, then this is letting me know that, they're not real, they're being other, that just not to take it at all personally.
You got muted, Swapna.
Did you hear some of it?
Yeah. So you were saying that it means that they have become the other, not to take things personally. Yeah.
And to come back to the care, like the softness, the sweetness that Mother's talking about, like that's my job, despite whatever's been said, and to see that when they are speaking and acting from that place that is far from kindness and love, then they are not at all themselves either. I mean, you've touched on this, but it just helped me, this passage, really to see that the number of times I get lost feeling hurt or criticized or sad, and then that just starts a spiral of a movement in me that's very far from this energy Mother's speaking about. So instead, to come back to it first and foremost in myself, and then to know this other is lost. I think Eckhart Tolle talks about it. It's like, they're not here, they're gone. If they're not coming from the same kindness themselves, so just to have that perspective and have compassion for both people and hold this passage, what Mother is indicating, as like an anchor to really root for this energy, to call it back in, to call her presence to help, the grace to help this softness, kindness come back in. Yeah.
I think that's very powerful. You know, this thing, and I have one experience which I would like to share here, because when the other person is drenched in the ego, we see it, you know, for us, it's easy to see the other person's ego somehow. It's hard to see our own, but it's easy to see it when the other person is speaking from the separate self, you know. And there, what you were sharing, that if I can manage in that, not to be my separate self and to be acting from that sweetness, you know, not to act from that, I think that can really turn tables, in the sense that for both of us, not that it'll benefit me, for both of us. And I have one instance where I was deeply drenched in this state of being the ego, you know, very harsh to myself, because when we are the egos, we are not kind to ourselves, we are being harsh to our own selves also, apart from the other. So the other person, my friend, did not react from the space of ego, while she reminded me that you are not this story that you are speaking right now. I think that really turned something, you know, made the thing lighter for me, that yes, maybe this is a cloud that will pass, and it's not my absolute truth. Now, this is not who I truly am. And that actually works wonders. At times you can share it with the other person because the other person is receptive. At times you cannot share it out, but you can still act from that space of not being the separate self or the ego. And that is really magical. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that.
So true, Monica. Yeah. And it always helps, you know, to see the other person as yourself. It's not easy. I think, especially even I feel when your attachments are deep, and you know, like from this one particular person, or you know, like your go-to person. Like personally for me, you know, like you know, like I feel that sky and cloud which you say, na, mostly you're able to see that you're the sky, but that with this one particular person where you have, you know, like you know, it is your go-to person, you feel like, you know, you suddenly become that sticky cloud, and those stories just trouble you. But again, when you know, even at those moments, even with that person, when you give up on the stories, you see glimpses of, you know, you see what you want to see in that person, the same soul, you can have those glimpses. And again, when you are not so powerful to continuously see, because you know, uh, for me personally, like if that person is my go-to person, and you know, like somebody I look up to, so wahan pe, like it's really becomes difficult to remember that you are the sky. And yet when I remember that, you know, we are one, I feel, oh god, like, you know, like you know, like this person is same soul. I do get it, but it doesn't remain, it's very sticky, this cloud is very sticky.
I think that's what all of, you know, we all are attached at some or the other spots in our lives, and those are our inner work areas. Because you know, if I see, for example, if I look at my life, I would see there are 50 people who I can work very detached manner. You know, they don't make me suffer. I am not my separate self when I'm talking to them. But there are these sticky spots, as you say, the soft spots. I think those are our raw material. That is what we have to transform in this life. And that would be the divine victory. You know, if there I cannot be my ego self. Yeah, that was beautiful.
That is true, Monica. True. Very beautifully you pointed out that. Yeah. That is the thing.
You know, the other layer to it I see in myself is how at times this kind of softness and gentleness that Mother is speaking about in this passage, the ego can come in moments and want to hijack. And if I have an ego agenda with the other, there is this kind of feigned, you know, a pretense of using a tone of voice or a softness that is pretending to be that kind of gentleness of the psychic. But it's done with a motive, it's done with manipulation, trying to get something. So if it's truly a place where I can genuinely truly come from gentleness or kindness, whether I say something or not, then it's an indication that the sincerity is there, you know. But it's very subtle. I have to be really, really honest and sincere with myself to catch that, you know, and not just pretend, because then it's easy just for it not to work. You know, it feels like you do it to get something back, like Mother says, you know, like human relations, it's bartering. But when it's done from that true gentleness, then it doesn't matter what I get back from a situation or a person. It's irrelevant. The softness stays, you know.
I
Jyotsna,
personally felt that it comes from a place where your psychic is in the forefront. And if when your psychic is in the forefront, you are basically, I mean, with your agility or with your awareness, you stay in that calm place and the joyous and peaceful place, then you remain unfazed, whether it's an external stimulus trigger or whether it's a inner stimulus trigger from your own larger self or from somebody else. Once you are in that and you are aware that you are in it, the only thing is we've got to stay in it. You don't slip. You won't slip for a long time till you get into some other routine or something. Others' thoughts or your own thoughts usually won't take you onto another trip unless, like you were saying, Monica, the ego comes into play and the larger self starts playing games with you, which is if you let yourself get distracted towards it. But generally, what I found was that if we stay aware of maintaining that calm, you remain unfazed for very long periods of time. And these joyous periods do increase in space. And then ultimately, you realize, you sense it that they are increasing. And these external trigger factors or stimuli are keeping you, are not triggering you as much as they used to, say, a few years ago. They can't get to you. So that's how I felt, that what Mother was trying to convey.
yes, thank you for sharing that. But you know, like you only said never say never. So I think saying everything and then just offering a prayer, that because you never know what life has in store, right? What's the next lesson that you have to learn? So just having the faith that no matter what happens, I am being taken care of. And I also want to share something, you know, what Chitra ji asked about the other and what Sapna was talking about, that how, you know, the other becomes the other. I have a friend with whom, you know, we do this thing that when we are talking, you know, when we need some clarity about things and when we are talking, we use us, like when I would tell her about something that happened with me, I would say, you know, and then Taru reacted this way and then she said this. So, you know, when I'm using, like, I always use myself as a third person when I have to analyze something about myself. A lot of times, you know, it's now become kind of a habit, but yeah, that I use when I reflect on something I did, I say that Taru, okay, she did this. So somehow I feel it's magically brings a stepping, you know, a distance between the one who's analyzing or reflecting, the one who wants to see what went wrong so that it doesn't go wrong again if I want to go that route. So this, for this stepping back to see the other, so just sharing because it helped me to use myself in the third person thing. That's, I found that helpful. And another thing that, you know, the lines that Chitra ji shared, like the first line was, let the happy, let the sweetness and the happy feeling increase. Right, that was the first thing. And that also, again, talking about from my own thing, that it's you know, it's like we do make mistakes, right? We do have issues, but the more I dwell in them, the lower I go. Like for sure, with 100% certainty, you know, I can say that. And the more I'm like, okay, this is done, right? Like sometimes it feels odd, but the sooner you're able to let go, at times you're not able to, but when you can, the easier it is for you to, you know, again be in that restful state. Because again, the forces of, you know, guilt and victim consciousness and sinner, they just keep pulling you down and just mess, you know, it's like the games that the mind play and we play with ourselves, that there's no end to it. I'd once heard an example in which, you know, somebody was talking about the same thing, and they said that like in a, when we are doing boring of water, sometimes the water level goes down and the machine is not able to pull it. So what they do is they put a like bowl of water in the machine where that pulling happens. So water attracts water, and the water supply again resumes. Like, you know, when the water supply had stopped, the first thing they do is put water so that it attracts water. So similarly, you know, peace attracts peace. I don't know, faith attract faith, and of course, in, you know, the other things, like whatever we have, like it sets off, you know, happiness, it attracts that. So just, yeah, wanted to share that.
And that is very beautiful, Taru. You told no, you are making yourself as a third person and analyzing. Even I used to do that actually. Every night I used to somewhere mother said no, you make a screen and you run all the dates, incidents there, wherever you are. I mean, you are not with that inner thing. You find it out and surrender. Yeah, that is a very nice practice actually. As if I am third person. Yeah.
And I think
Thank you.
after today's session, this thing about, you know, the me being the other has
Yeah.
clarified for me, you know, the clarity with which we have shared, and I'm very grateful for it today. That how again, you know, we think we know, and then it needs more deepening, it needs more solidifying. So that
Correct.
is very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
these sessions are really beautiful in this sense actually. Even something we know already also need some clarification like this really. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Nandini, you have joined late. Would you want, do you have anything to share with us today? Any readings that you have done?
No, no, thank you. I'm listening. Thank you.
I'm again just asking anybody who, Captain, yes.
Yeah, I got something to add. About 3-4 years back in Bangalore, I did one course that was NLP, Linguistic Programming, Neuro Linguistic Programming. I have heard a little bit, then I went through the net and all. I wanted to find out what is it actually before doing the course. So they're quite interesting, I think. So I went there. There are so many things which takes place with us or in the companies and all this. So we can become advisor, or we can tell them how to go about it. Actually, anything which can be analyzed. In the childhood, we have been told that every day while going to bed, you should have a habit of writing a diary, introspection throughout the day. You have been talking about the screen, and you see what are the things have taken place, like a picture, you remember, and then you try to correct. So you become third person, and you are seeing your performance. So similarly, here in that NLP, what we used to do is, if somebody has got the height phobia, or somebody has got the driving phobia, so all these phobias and can be removed. So that was actually basic idea. Any such phobias, it can be easily removed. So that NLP through this programming actually. So we got the different level of courses are there. So there, one of the basic thing is that, so you are separating yourself. You are seeing yourself in a screen, or even you are seeing that your action is being shown. Means second, third, fourth person. You become the fourth person actually, but it is you actually. Your So, you are looking at an object here in the ground. Now, by aircraft, your height is being raised. So, the object which you had been in the ground, so that becomes smaller, smaller, and smaller. And a time comes when you can see as a dot, or after some time, even the dot also vanishes. So, there's a hard disk in our mind, in the body, in the brain. So, that hard disk has been written in a particular way. But that hard disk also, that writing also, that programming can be changed. That was that NLP, neuro linguistic programming. With that language and all, it can be changed. So, I had been mentioning that earlier, that from the childhood we have gone, actually our hard disk has been written in a different way. Now, suddenly I realized that I must change myself. I should come to that. So it's become very difficult because the hard disk is written in a particular fashion, and we have to have that determination that yes, I have to change this. I have to change this. This is the time. This is the opportunity which I have got. So then it becomes more difficult, as it was there for a habit for me actually for a long time. So it takes more time to come back. But where Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that once you realize, it can come as a flash. He says that there was 1,000 years of darkness, and you just switch on the light, and it comes within a fraction of a second. It doesn't take even 1 second. So that's the God's grace actually. That takes God's grace, or say miracle by the God and all. But so we get scared. See, we have done for say 60, 70 years this way, and how do you expect that suddenly I will change myself and all this. So these are the things which are binding us actually. Whereas it can change, and I can change myself now itself within fraction of a second. So that sort of thing, the miracle also can take place. So the looking as a third person, it helps to analyze myself, that what all, where all, then like I'm doing I. So that I specialist, that goes off. And you are seeing you are as an individual, you are an Atma, or you're not even mind, you're not body, you're not even intelligent, and yourself. So you have to lose self, then only you can realize myself, that who am I. Once that thing comes, then it becomes easy actually. Once that realization comes, then it becomes easy. So we will not be perturbed by any of the happenings which are taking place and all. Unless I keep myself cool, so probably the things will evaporate. It will not be there. So the moments I cool down, and so that a lot of things comes actually. So like in Bhagavad Gita, they said Sthita Pragga. Sthita Pragga means let anything happen, but you are the same. You are not perturbed, you are not disturbed at all. So that is the addition, yoga, we say yoga, because you are connected with that Supreme. So you cannot be neither it can be burnt, it can be put in the heat, like Prahlad and all this. So they try to put him in the oil and things like that, and you cannot do anything. Once you are connected with that, that is the end of it actually. That is ultimate faith. Thank you.
I think this also connects with the disinterested faith, because if I look at myself as the other, just like I am mostly not really interested in all what is happening with other people's life, I think that kind of a disinterested faith Mother talks of, that we are so taking ourselves personally all the time, taking ourselves seriously all the time. I think all that can really fall down like a mirage, or maybe a not a real thing, like a dream, if we more and more make this our reality, looking at ourselves as the other and making it more concretized for us. And then only I think we can talk about not taking ourselves seriously, what Mother says, that men are so disturbed because they take themselves too seriously. And the other thing is that disinterested solid faith, because then we would not look at ourselves as the limited body and the mind, but something greater than that, wider than that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Captain was sharing about the LLP, it just, it's like it again was bringing out that the mechanical aspects of our lives, right? Like, I think I'm special, right? My emotions, my relations, my past, my future, like my God, how do I manage all this? And yet, when I take out the emotions from it, or when I'm able to see it from a step back, like he said, you could see it on a screen, the mechanical way in which I operate, it's there. And that really helps you, when you realize that, it's like everybody goes through the same thing. Whenever this happens, that happens. Nothing is very special. You don't have to get lost in your stories. Come back, come back, come back. So that's, I think it was really interesting for me to hear what he said, that, yeah, it is like just, action, reaction, action, reactions, and all things are fixed.
Even
And
I have felt. Yeah, can I say?
no,
Yeah.
Shweta, yes, please.
Yeah, so these thoughts, like you said, they are so mechanical, and if you start observing, they are also recycled. We all feel like that they're not your thoughts; they are like universal collective thoughts, and it's just that a frequency you are in, it just latches on you. So I think to increase that frequency and to vibrate higher helps. And also I resonated with one more thing that captain said, that even Krishnamurti says na, that you know my secret, I don't mind what happens. So it's the same thing, it's so much beyond like what happens. That is the secret.
Yes, Shweta, thank you. And it's like, I think thoughts are probably the easiest to see when we start becoming aware. And then, because somehow it's like we personally also have a ladder, right? Like, okay, thought, all right, those were thought. But feelings, those are like really special. Or, like my spiritual beliefs, more special, like kind of, and then when we see that these, like the captain was talking about fears, right? Like I justify my fear, right? Are it's my fear and it's justified. So again, just to get that mechanical nature, like you were also sharing, into other aspects of our life which we feel are sacred, and so they better should be left untouched. I think it's like really nice to be able to see that they too are nothing but, yeah, mechanical. If there's any other sharing, we can take it up. Otherwise, I'll call it a Friday.
I think there's just
Yeah.
one thing that, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Yeah. No
I was
problem.
saying, I was just looking at the passage again, and the last line, well, the first and the last, my eyes struck again. It's like, let the sweetness and the happy feeling increase, for they are the strongest sign of the soul and the psychic being awake and in touch with us. So these words, the sweetness and the happy feeling, like to anchor to that or to call that in. And then the last line, keep to the one central thing, your soul and these higher realities it brings with it. Your soul and these higher realities it brings with it. And so simply, again, that reassurance and the promise that Mother and Sri Aurobindo are so good at giving, that whatever the struggle, whatever may seem like, oh, it's so far away, but this beautiful promise of there's a higher reality beyond whatever may be happening in my immediate future, or when something feels like it's a higher reality, to know that, this is touching on the psychic. So yes, I enjoyed looking at the words again. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya. Yes, Chitraji.
Yeah, I will end up with this actually. The divine guide within is not offended by our revolt, not discouraged by our want of faith, or repelled by our weakness. He has the entire love of the mother and the entire patience of the teacher, Sri Aurobindo. This really, yeah. Again, that reassurance with their compassion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Monica, in case you have anything before we wrap up, then.
No, thanks, Taru. Nothing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us this week. And yeah, more happy sharings. Not happy, yes, happy sharings maybe next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks all. Yeah.
Thank you.